everybody. It is Stacy. I'm so excited for today's show. We are going back across the pond. We have special guest Mrs. Atlantic 2122. Tasha is going to be on. She's going to talk all about why she does this crazy thing called pageantry. So stay with us right here on Pageantry Now. Hey everybody, so happy to have you here. I know it's earlier in the day in the United States, but in the UK it's evening and we have a very special guest. Tasha's going to come on, Mrs. Atlantic 2021-22, and she's going to talk all about why she does this crazy thing called pageantry. But before we get to that, I just want to make sure that I let everybody know to please participate in this experience. Ask questions, be part of the show. We want you guys to be part of this and bring your friends. You know, if you're in the UK, grab a glass of wine, sit down with, some kind of popcorn or something. Be part of the experience. We want you to be here. We're really happy to have all of you. Also, please make sure you keep your comments PC because we do have teenagers that watch. We want to make sure this is appropriate for everybody. Pageantry Now is all about positivity and pageantry and being able to highlight the amazing things title holders do using a crown and a sash to change their world in this crazy thing called pageantry. And with that being said, let me get this show going. Here we go. Hi! Oh my gosh, Tasha, I'm so excited that you're here. Oh my goodness.
I'm
okay,
excited to be here.
I know. All right, tell us all about yourself.
So I am Natasha. I am your Mrs. Atlantic 2122, and I competed virtually like yourself in April this year.
And like, okay, so wait, oh gosh. See, this whole thing of being really cool and up. Pageantry isn't always what it works out to be when we're live and virtual. Hey, what was that all about? Kenzie says, hey. She also says, keeping everything PC, please, friends, teens, watch, but ask questions, comments. I love her. She interacts with everybody. So, and then that's a beautiful message. Thank you, Marie. I'm so glad. All right. So let's talk about your title and just a little bit about, I know it was virtual, but let's talk about the system and then why it was virtual and how it's been for the last couple months being a title holder virtually.
So I applied for Atlantic. I've done my research. I applied for Atlantic because the ethos is around mental health. And I have epilepsy. My granddad had Alzheimer's. He sadly passed away in 2019. So my platform is focused around mental health. It all sort of comes back into one, doesn't it? And focuses around mental health. And I've never looked back since. It was just the best system that I could have joined. I've loved every moment of it. It was meant to take place live, obviously, which would have been January this year. We postponed, moved it to April. Again, we postponed it because things just weren't looking up, this lovely worldwide pandemic that we've got. So we held it virtually and it felt like we was at a live pageant. In the end, we sat back and watched. We all obviously filmed our walks or our rounds. We sent them off, and how the director put it together, Romy, was incredible. We all sat and watched it, obviously in our own homes, but it was like being at a live event. It was brilliant. And the excitement was still there. Believe me, I was still just as nervous watching my own walks because you don't normally watch yourself, do you?
Isn't it crazy when you're watching and you're like, because they played our walks as they called us as winners. And I was like, because she did it a little bit differently. And like, I guess everybody's got these new ideas about virtual, but I was like, oh my gosh, everybody can see my walk. Oh no.
That's the thing, because normally it was really nice actually because I could watch all of the other contestants, whereas normally you're behind everyone, aren't you, because you're in your line ready to go and hit the stage. So actually when it was coming up, I knew where I was and it was coming up and I was like, oh my god, I feel really nervous. Why am I so nervous?
It's crazy how the feeling is like I've said to you, like, it was as real as if I had been on TV. My heart rate was pumping, and I know that this is all new for a lot of people doing a virtual pageant, but I have got to say, I think there's some advantages to the idea that you don't have to go anywhere, you don't have to travel, you don't have to pay for all of that expense.
There's
So
that part, yeah.
yeah,
But I actually, the big advantage I found was being able to see everyone else's walks and see everyone else, how they've done them, enjoy their outfits as well, and all the beautiful dresses that everyone had bought, because normally it's so bang, bang, bang on the day, and it goes so quickly, doesn't it?
yeah,
And you
yeah.
can't watch everyone else. All you can see is if someone's filmed their walks, maybe, and you just get it played back. But it was actually really enjoyable to watch everyone at the same time. But yeah, I was still nervous as heck. It didn't make me feel any less nervous about it
Yeah.
being virtual.
So what are the areas of competition? So we know, and can you tell us a little bit more about the system? So I know that it'll be changing possibly back to live, or do you even know? Do you
It
guys know?
will be live. Yes, it will be going live next April, the 24th. So we'll be going back to that for when I hand over. It's going to be a 2-day event next year. We're going to have a ball beforehand, which is really exciting, and then the final on the Saturday night. So we have interview, evening, fashion, and swimwear round. And I incredibly got best in all of them, which was to my surprise.
Whoa, that is fantastic! Oh my gosh! And
I was really surprised.
So how did your husband feel about his wife being on stage? Well, on stage for everybody virtually in a swimsuit. Let's talk about like how you guys did this as a couple, because it is sometimes husbands are super supportive and some of them are like, I don't know.
No, Mark's really supportive. He didn't bat an eyelid. He was like, "What color are you going to get?"
There you go. See, there you go.
Really supportive. He was actually, as we were watching the final, he was like, "That's a nice bikini, or that's a nice evening gown. She's got a really good walk."
My husband's
He's got really involved with it now.
That's how my husband judges. I mean, he does like, I mean, it's just, it's a sport. So we have a question for you. It says from Maria, how do you deal with nerves? That's a great question.
See, I'm a terrible flyer. So when I'm going to board a plane, I have an elastic band on my wrist and I flick it. Well, obviously you can't do that. If you can't do that if you're in a live pageant, can you? So when I did perform live, I just kept scratching the inside of my wrist before I actually went on stage. And it worked. I was fine. But I used to sing and dance when I was growing up. So I was always used to the stage. But you still get those little butterflies, those still little nerves, don't you? It's natural.
I think it's part of the experience. Like the reason we do this sport, oh, you can't see me, I'm in air quotes, this sport, because I think it is a sport. I think pageantry is really quite unique in that, you know, it makes you be better. It makes you compete against yourself. I don't ever feel like I'm competing against someone else. I always compete against me and being better as I am. So
it's definitely brought out a whole new confidence in me. Like I would never have been able to do interviews. I mean, Crowds and Sashes has been incredible. It's for me as well, interviewing people like yourself. So that's given me a whole new confidence, as well as actually taking part in pageantry. So I've had so many different things come at me, and it's just been incredible. And yeah, to walk away and say, I did it, I feel super proud of myself.
Well, I'm so proud of you too. So, and honestly, that's the thing for, you know, I think for all of us to walk away with learning something new about ourselves. And I think that that's super important. So, what made you get into your first pageant? Like, why do you do this crazy thing called pageantry?
This crazy thing. So growing up, like I said, I was always on stage singing and dancing in shows, dance festivals and stuff. And I always thought about pageants, but I'd never really heard of them in the UK, to be honest, growing up. Yeah. I think it was more of like an American thing, or I thought it was an American thing. But I was very close to my granddad. And when he passed away, I was like, I'm just going to look into it. I'm going to do it. And I entered my first one at the age of 34. So I felt really old. I felt I was married, so I didn't have a clue what I was doing. Like all these young girls, really pretty girls were coming along. But you know what? I went and I absolutely loved it. It's like the dipping your toe in and then it's stuck in. You're not coming back out.
You're not coming. It is absolutely one of those things where you kind of go, oh, let me try it.
Yeah. It definitely, once I got back on that stage, I felt at home. I was like, do you know what? I'm happy here. I love it. And then that's when that one came to an end. that's when I did my research and applied for Atlantic, and I've never looked back. I have to say, it has just been amazing. And I've met so many lovely people. I speak to so many lovely people. I get to speak to people in America like yourself.
It's crazy, right? Brilliant. How this whole world has opened up in a way that we never, because I started competing in pageants 40 years ago. So to see this evolution and to see now that, and that I can talk to somebody anywhere in the world now and get to know them. And then, I mean, there are people that like Kenzie comes on and she Charlotte's in the house. Woo! Hi, Charlotte. We love you. Charlotte is the owner of Crown. Well, and I guess with you as well, Tosh, Crowns and Sashes magazine in the UK. And she's on the show as well. So, and we love her and we love her support. So thanks so much. But I think it's remarkable that we get to know people that we've never met and we get to spend time with them. And I know for you and Charlotte popped in at exactly the right time because you're just talking about meeting people that you've never met. Let's talk about your birthday and the very special experience that you guys got to have for your birthday.
So my birthday was last Thursday, the big 3-6. I feel over the hill now.
I just had 5-5. Don't even. My first national pageant, I won at 36. So there you go. So.
Oh wow! So I won at 35.
There you go.
So I've been talking to Charlotte every day, all day, since about January, February time, and obviously I'm going to meet her next week for her finals. So I'm going to watch her and cheer her on. But we was like, it's my birthday. Should we meet up in London? And we did it, and we had such a fabulous day. It was like we have known each other for years and years. It was brilliant. And
that was the first time you met live.
That was the first time we had met.
4.5 hours travel to meet a complete stranger, and and it looked like it was magical. The pictures just
you should have seen us in the train station because I arrived before her, so I went to wait for her train to come in. And we just ran and screamed and was like,
oh my gosh, that is so.
A few people may have stared at us, but we were having a whale of a time.
There we go. See, okay, Maria has another great question. Ralph says, "Good evening, Charlotte." So Maria says, "How do you deal with people who put pageants in a negative light?" That's a great question. I will answer this too. So Tasha, you get to go first.
I mean, when I first said to people I was going to take part in pageantry, some people raised an eyebrow and took the mickey. Some people were like, oh, wow, that's really exciting. Some people just go, oh, you're going on the stage in a bikini, and sort of raise an eyebrow. But once people have actually realised what I've been doing and how much money I've raised and what my platform is, people have actually been really, really supportive. I mean, touch wood, I haven't really experienced anything negative towards me personally about taking part in pageantry. It's all been very, very positive. And I don't really have any negative thing to say about it myself. I mean, I've loved every moment. I know it's only been 2 years, but I've had the best 2 years since taking part in this crazy thing called pageantry.
Yeah, I know. I think it is magical. And I mean, and through the years, I will be honest here, stateside, certain states kind of give you you're doing what? Or some of my friends will be like, you're doing, and I know that it happens in the UK as well, and around Europe.
Of course it does.
And, and then of course I'll be out doing an appearance and someone will see my sash and be like, oh, is it your birthday? I'm like, no, it's not my birthday. Well, why are you wearing a crown? And I'm like, because I won it. Well, where did you buy that? I'm like, I didn't buy it. And I in the beginning when I started winning bigger titles, I was in Texas, which Texas is like the mecca of pageantry in the United States. And I got a little bit of pushback because I'm plus size. And it was like, and I said, I've earned this. I'm a 3-time cancer survivor. And at that point, I was just a 1-time cancer survivor. But I'd been given 8 weeks to live, and I'm the survivor of sexual assault and the physical assault. And as I tell the story, you see the mouths go, what?
Yeah.
And I go, that is what my achievement is. And now, I was out with my USA achievement before I won World, and someone said, "Oh, what have you achieved?" And now I can go, I'm a 3-time cancer survivor that's raised over $4 million for cancer charities. I work with the American Heart Association. I've been on national TV, international TV, on international radio. I do podcasts. Additionally, I was the first person ever to get cardiac stem cells to regrow damage done to my heart by chemotherapy.
Wow.
And then you just see the whole
dynamic changes, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I just am like, bring it. Because at the end of the day, this is that magical piece of jewelry right there opens doors and opens a microphone that enables both of us.
Yeah.
Especially, I didn't know you had epilepsy. So, I knew that you were doing fundraising for Samaritans, and that's really where Crowns and Sashes comes from. And then I know you've been working with Charlotte, but I had no idea that you were someone that was dealing with an issue as well. So let's talk about how you're using your crown as a way to be able to shed light on your special ability and what you're doing with that, because I think that's super part of this story as well.
Ralph says, I'm very lucky. I mean, I've had 2 seizures since I was diagnosed at 17. I've only had 2. Touch wood, fingers crossed, cross everything for me now I've said that. But it stays that way. I take medication morning, I take medication at night, I drive, I've been able to go on my girly holidays still. I live a perfectly normal life. But I do really appreciate the fact that there is a lot of people out there with epilepsy that do not live a normal life compared to what I do. I'm very, very lucky and very, very fortunate. And I mean, just because I've got this label and this condition, I did think personally it might hold me back, but it hasn't at all. And I think if you want to go for something in life, go for it. It doesn't matter if you've got something, a condition or something that's classed as wrong with you, or disability, whatever, whoever you are, you have something to offer and something to give to everything. So don't let anything hold you back.
I love that message. And I always say these are my superpowers. So these are the things that my imperfections make me perfect. Exactly. And they are what make you exactly who you're meant to be. And by taking your crown and your sash and being able to share your story, there's always that one person that can hear that remarkable story about how you said, you know what? I'm just going to do this. And honestly, I mean, I know that competing in something like this could be something that could actually trigger a seizure. So the fact that you're just going, you know what, this isn't going to stop me from doing what I need to do and moving forward, which I think is fantastic. You're just so amazing.
I mean, I look after myself. I don't drink alcohol, which could be a trigger, flashing lights. I sometimes, if I go clubbing, which, at my age, I don't tend to do anymore. So maybe 10 years ago, if I've been clubbing and it's been like 3 hours, I might start to get a headache with the lights. But going on stage for a couple of hours and you're on off stage, aren't you? You're not fully in it. It doesn't bother me. It's absolutely fine. And I'll go to live music festivals. I live a really normal life, but I do have to remember and have my medication sat on my bedside, every morning, every night, I take it. And I'm very grateful I've been looked after by neurologists and doctors, and I've got this far. So, if you've got anything wrong with you, don't let it stop you doing whatever you want to do. If you've got a goal, blooming go out and get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I take several different medications, but my phone has alarms, and now even my students, I have a gymnastics company, and the alarm will go off like, Miss Stacy, take your medicine. And I'm like, wait, how awesome is it that my support system, the people that give me light, that I give light back to them. I did a morning moment this morning talking about that. Make sure that you surround yourself with people that fill your cup up, because you're constantly filling up other people's cups and really helping them be better people too. So make sure that you're letting them give back to you as well.
That's like, when I've been on my girly holidays, my friends have always been best friends that I'd go away with. I trust them wholeheartedly. And they're always like, shouldn't you be taking your medication by now? And I'm thinking, no, I want my breakfast first. Chill out.
Bye, Ralph. See you soon. Mwah. Salamat. for joining. I appreciate it. So Maria's got some great questions. Maria Grace Moreau says, any tips for people who are going to compete in a pageant soon?
Go out and give it your all. Make sure you are completely happy with your outfit choices. Make sure you're comfortable in your shoes. Don't go too high. Do lots of practicing your walking, and just go out on that stage and just sock it to them. Give it all you've got. Because you get what? 3 minutes, is it? Is it 3 minutes on stage? So just make it the best 3 minutes that you possibly can. Just give it all you've got. Have a ball. Have a whale of a time.
and you know, I always smile. But you know what? Like, I think that these are the moment. I mean, obviously you have royalty in the UK, real royalty.
Yeah, not me.
I mean, but just knowing that you can have that moment of being that I call it a pretty princess, but like, you have your Cinderella moment. This is your moment to go out there and feel wonderful and be the best you can be. And I don't ever compete against myself. I don't ever compete against other people. I always compete against myself, because there's always something I can learn from each experience about myself, what I can do better. It's easy to compare, especially in today's society. But I really feel like
definitely
just being your best you is winning enough. Whether you get a piece of jewelry on your head, I mean, let's face it, the jewelry, it's just jewelry. Like, it's
very pretty. Very pretty. But as long as you've done the best you can do,
I agree.
That's the main thing. And as long as you're proud of yourself and your family and friends are proud, that's the main thing. That's the main goal, really, isn't it?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we want to be the best people we can be for again, filling up their cups, filling up your cups, having that support. I think that's what pageantry is about. And using, as I say, your crown and your sash to change your world. So you're doing such a phenomenal job of doing that, Tosh. I love everything you guys are doing with the interviews, with crowns and sashes, with a magazine, with the raising of money. I mean, I know that's Charlotte's goal as well, but I'm assuming that now are you actively part of Crowns and Sashes, or is it just Charlotte's kid?
No, it's Charlotte who set it all up. I'm a team member with her. I do the live interviews and things like that. We work as part of a team, but it's her baby still. And she always says it's ours, and I'm like, no, it's your baby. You took us on to be part of your team. This is all yours. I have to remind her of that.
But I think that part of it is being a team. Like, I know I have Fatima who does interviews on Instagram, and then now I have Maylee who goes and does lives, and then we're bringing on in as well. So but I call it ours. Like, I mean, I know that I founded Pageantry Now, but at the end of the day, I can't do it without the remarkable people that are changing my world by giving back.
Oh yeah, no, that's totally, I agree with that. But when she says it's ours, and I'm like, no, you take all the credit for this, because you thought of the magazine, you thought of the ideas. This is your baby. I don't want to take any credit for the amount of money that she's raised, because that is all her as well. Yes, like our interviews, we do charge a donation of £2, but the majority and all of the big money has come from all of her hard work. So she's done fabulous. I couldn't praise her enough.
That's awesome. And then you're part of that legacy too. So don't discount that. Like, that is part of.
No, I wouldn't. But she deserves all the credit at the moment for that.
All right. So, what would you like to tell everybody that we haven't really talked about? I want you to share whatever you feel is in your heart that you need to talk about right now. And then how can we follow the rest of your reign and what you're going to be doing? Oh, that's it. What's your favorite appearance that you've done? Maria asks.
My favorite appearance, there's two. So my platform is Alzheimer's, and I did the memory walk in March, and I roped my mum and sister-in-law along, told them it was 5 miles and it was 17 miles, but they actually loved it and were like, sign us up for next year.
Did you really? Oh,
I did, honestly.
17? No.
We left, I think, at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we got back about 2:30 in the afternoon. And I thought, oh God, they're going to kill me. But actually, they sat down on my kitchen floor and was like, oh, my feet hurt, but what are we doing next year? So
Oh my God. We did I had double bypass in 2015, and I told the doctor when I did double bypass that I had entered already the Disney Princess half marathon. And he looked at me and he said, "What? That's 5 months from now." And I went, "Huh?"
yeah.
And he's like, you can't do. He kept me in ICU for 2 weeks to keep me from going out and doing something that would. I mean, which I love him. I mean, he knew he did, and the team worked with me, and we really did. So it ended up I dropped down to the 5K so that we could do a 5K. And by the end of it, between the walking to the finish line, walking around Disney, and all the things that we did, it ended up being a half marathon. It was 14 miles, and I thought, well, okay.
Disney is not a walk around a small park, is it? Disney is huge.
No, it was huge, but I loved it, and we had so much fun. My husband's family joined us. And my husband's mother was 75 when she did it.
Oh,
my sister-in-law, we had such a blast, and I was so glad that we did it because it raises money for Children's Miracle Network, which are children's hospitals here in the United States. So it was one of those, and then I got to meet Miss America, so that was even cooler.
That's a big bonus.
All right. So what haven't we talked about that you'd like to share that we haven't had a chance to touch on?
I think just my platform, which is Alzheimer's, and my granddad passing away has just really kick-started me and motivated me to raise money and awareness for it. And I set up a campaign called I Am Me for people to remember and remind people that just because you've been diagnosed with Alzheimer's doesn't make you a different person. You know, you might like gardening, you can still garden. You might like music, you can still listen to the same music. Just adapt things rather than think, well, they can't do that no more. It's just all about adaptation, and patience is a big part, is a lot to do with Alzheimer's, isn't it? Having patience for the loved ones that have been diagnosed with it, because it's a big change, and it's a big change for your family, not just the person that has been diagnosed. So yeah, that is the whole process in the final, and then actually winning, I think for me was like, yeah, I've done it. I've done it for my granddad, and that just, it fills my heart.
Oh, that is so sweet. Oh my gosh, I love that. And as with any type of disease, you know, the caregivers deal with that as well. They're dealing with any kind of diagnosis, and it's a change for the person that's going with it, because
and it's a big
they
change.
don't want to burden. Yeah, they don't want to burden you as the caregivers, and the fact that you are taking his legacy, his lessons, and you're moving forward, and he's always with you.
He certainly is. He really is.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I love it. All right. Well, tell me how we can follow you, and so that everybody can know more about you and be able to support you in your fundraising efforts, and then just cheer you on as you go forward in this amazing title.
So I am on Facebook as Natasha Streatfield, and I am on Instagram as Mrs. Atlantic. And you can find me on there and just follow my journey and see what I'm up to.
Awesome. Thank you, my love, for coming. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolutely lovely evening. Thank you very much.
All right. Stay put. Don't disconnect. I'm going to close out the show, but I'm so grateful to have you, my love. I love the fact that the world brought us together.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Thanks to all of our crownies that are out there and popping in and saying hi and being part of the experience. Thanks for everybody across the pond that has joined in and added their comments and, you know, taken the time out to support Tosh and support Pageantry Now. We really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Everything is at Pageantry Now. join our journey, and that way you'll get notifications whenever we go live with somebody. We really appreciate all of you. I don't call you followers, I call you crownies. You're the people that are passionate about this, and without you, I can sit and talk with amazing people, which is wonderful and lovely, and love getting to know them. But I love having people out there that are hearing all about positivity and pageantry and how we're changing the world using a crown and a sash. So thanks so much. Be kind to one another. I will see everybody soon. That's a wrap, everybody.